Today we'll be talking about recent Marvel movie news, including the upcoming films Black Widow, Doctor Strange 2, and Guardians of the Galaxy Vol.3. Welcome back to a brand new episode of our show, Popcorn Feed, here at My Comic Universe. I'm your host, Steve.
I'm your other host, Brian, and like Steve said, that's right, we're talking about Marvel movie updates. That's right, everything in development, what's upcoming, and everything about the Marvel Cinematic Universe that we've heard about.
That's right.
So, let's go ahead and get right into this because there's quite a bit of news to talk about.
There is, Brian. There definitely is.
All right. The first thing on our chopping block today is going to be the upcoming Black Widow movie.
That's right.
The supposed first rated R movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Possibly the first rated R MCU film,
Interesting.
but whether or not we're actually going to get to see that come to life is another story. We'll get into that.
That's
but first,
true.
well, I'm sure everyone wants to know, when does this film actually start going into production? Initially, the rumors suggested that production would start next month, and
Right.
Filming would begin sometime in March. But actually, the date's been revealed to be February 28th, so later this month, filming
perfect.
will begin. And some other rumors, too, about possible location in Italy.
Really?
So that should be interesting.
Kind of got an explanation of her character with those flashback scenes in Age of Ultron.
That's right.
So, I mean, this is one of those characters where it's like, do we really need the origin? Do we really need to see this? Some fans really want it, and some fans are kind of like, well, maybe some of the other female Marvel Cinematic characters would be more interesting. I mean, a background story on Hope would be interesting, or even on Valkyrie. You know, but this could open the door for those films.
Once production begins, we're actually going to have a better idea of where this film is actually going to be located, and we're also going to have a better idea of the cast and the potential comic book characters that they're going to be bringing to life.
All right,
So
well,
I'm very excited to find out what the story is going to entail, and is it going to be a prequel? Is it going to be before the events of Endgame, or sometime in the future after? Who knows?
we'll find out, and we will keep everybody posted here at My Comic Universe. But we gotta ask our audience, what do you guys think about a Black Widow movie? A rated R Black Widow movie, even?
Well, the thing with that is it's very possible, considering with her spy training and the style of combat that Black Widow has become known for, it's very possible that they could push the boundaries and make it an R-rated film. And the only other thing that could make it an R-rated film is the possibility that there might be additional sexuality within the film, more than we've
Okay.
seen in previous MCU films.
Interesting.
You know, it's very clear that Marvel has a very strict formula that they've followed for the last 10 years, and it's been working great for them so far. And it kind of doesn't make sense for them to possibly miss out on a part of their audience by making it an R-rated film. They're gonna lose out on that younger audience.
That's true.
So I get the feeling that even though it could very well be possible, I don't think it's likely that it's going to happen.
Let us know in the comments below if you're excited for the Black Widow movie. So next up on our chopping block, of course, is none other than Doctor Strange 2, the sequel to the 2016 film.
That's right. They just recently announced that the original writer and director from the first film will be returning for
This
the
is
second.
big.
So that would be writer C. Robert Cargill and Scott Derrickson.
This is really exciting news because I loved the first Doctor Strange. I don't know how many times I've seen it, at least 14 or 15.
That's a great film. It really
It is. It's one of those ones that really grabs you and really pulls you in, and at the same time, it really explains who Stephen Strange is. I'm really excited for the sequel, so I'm excited to see that they're bringing back the original cast members, some of them, not all of them, but they're bringing back, Benedict Wong, who is also in Infinity War. They're going to bring back Chatwell as well, so I'm looking forward to seeing them back on the screen, and of course, Benedict. So, what about you, Steve? Are you excited for the sequel?
Very excited, definitely. And I was going to mention that with the news of Cargill returning as the writer, that also gives us a little bit of insight into who the possible villain might be. Just last year, he did an interview with MovieWeb, and he indicated that Nightmare could potentially be the villain for the Doctor Strange sequel.
Wow, that's
And
interesting.
He also explained that whatever Nightmare might be up to, that Baron Mordo would return and have some part in it as well.
Right. Maybe we'll even see Dormammu come back again. Who knows? I mean, he is still around.
It's very possible.
It's very possible.
But it won't be for a while, because as of right now, it looks like Production's not going to start until sometime in the spring of 2020, and they're looking at a May 2021 release date.
I did see that, the 2021 release date. I'm a little bit like off-put by that because I'm like, wow, that seems like a long time. But thinking about all the movies we're going to get in between, and maybe some more cameo appearances by Steven himself,
More than likely.
I will definitely be happy to see that in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So let us know in the comments below if you're excited for Doctor Strange 2.
Well, the last film we're going to be talking about is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
This is the last one that is currently in development. Yeah, in production. We were just talking about this the other day that, the original cast is going to come back, right?
Well, that's right. Those are the two biggest questions on everybody's mind. Who's going to direct, and who's returning from the original cast? As of right now, there is no director that's been formally announced to replace James Gunn. And a lot of Marvel fans have wanted Taika Waititi to take his role as director because of the success he had with Thor Ragnarok. But he actually recently made an official statement saying that he isn't going to direct that film, that's James's film.
Right.
So Taika is out, but actually he will be returning to work with Marvel sometime in the near future.
Right.
But we're not sure on what project. But it definitely won't be Guardians Volume 3.
Yeah, unfortunately. Well, we actually should wait and see how Anna Bodwin and Ryan Fleck do with their upcoming film with Captain Marvel, I mean, they could be potential candidates to take over for Guardians Volume 3 even.
It's very possible.
Now, I have to admit, I did see some speculation revolving around Jon Favreau as well, so that's another potential director for this film. But Steve, I gotta ask you, who's your favorite director so far in the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
That's a tough one. Jon Favreau did a great job of establishing the MCU with Iron Man and Iron Man 2. I've really enjoyed James Gunn's work on Guardians 1 and 2.
Those were great.
That's without a doubt. And of course the Russo brothers. They did such a great job on Captain America, Civil War,
and in Infinity War as well.
Infinity War as well. Yeah. That's right. So kind of hard to really pin down one specific director.
It's tough. There's a few others that have been floating around. You also forgot about Whedon also doing the original Avengers film. Right. So, there's
Taika
Waititi, Scott Derrickson. There's a lot of great directors. You know what I'd like to see, though? I'd like to see some more female directors in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I think they're bridging that gap with Anna Bodwin's coming on to do Captain Marvel, so I'm excited.
In a recent interview Chris Pratt did with Variety, he said the same thing. He said the entire cast would be coming back for this third film, and that they really want to,
that's big.
Deliver, this third film to please the fans and to keep audiences happy, of course.
Of course, and I'm sure there are some contractual agreements in play as well that they have to abide by, but really, it's all about the fans. Speaking of fans, let us know in the comments below if you're excited for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and let us know who your favorite director is in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's right, people. We're talking about Endgame and Captain Marvel.
We just recently got some pretty sweet Super Bowl
trailers. So, Endgame, man. It's been coming. We've been waiting for it. Doctor Strange told us about it in Infinity War. But we're finally starting to get some trailers, like we said. And we're really excited here at Popcorn Feed because there is so much surrounding what's happening at the end here. But personally, there's one thing I got to bring to light. One thing I loved about the first trailer was the fact that we still get to see all of the characters who survived Infinity War and how they really are struggling so far with the fact and coping with the fact that they finally lost. Our heroes finally lost. And, I honestly love the scene where they're looking on those, hollow screens, and we see all these different characters who are actually still in existence, but they just don't know where they are. Scott Lang is one of them. Shuri was another. I don't want to give too much away, even though our fans have probably seen the trailer. But I was really excited to see that, moment where they're really still coping with it. But it wasn't until this Super Bowl trailer, it was that very last shot, I have to admit, that really got my attention, where all of them were lined up, and we finally have our new Avengers. It's pretty cool. It's really cool. What was one scene that you liked so far from these trailers, Steve?
Well, there were actually a couple that I really liked. The first that really stood out to me was Tony Stark and Nebula working together. It looks like they're building something, possibly to help them get off of Titan.
That's what I was
survive. Thinking. It was a scene that was very reminiscent of the first Iron Man film when Tony is in the cave and he's building whatever he can out of the spare parts he's got. Yeah,
that's nice.
Make his way out. So that's the first thing that my mind went to. And it's curious. I want to see those two interacting on film. You know, Tony Stark and Nebula, two very different characters. I'm curious to see the kind of banter that we're going to get.
I would like to see that too.
Now the thing is, also, are they going to be able to save themselves, or is someone going to come to their rescue? That's been another point of
a big
contention as well. People have been debating: is it going to be Captain Marvel? Is it going to be Rocket Raccoon? Could it be Valkyrie that shows up and saves them? Who knows at this point? Machine and Ant-Man suiting up. That's something that really stood out to me.
Oh, yeah.
Well. It's unclear where they're headed, but they're obviously off to battle somewhere. And it's interesting as well because the last time we saw these two together, they were actually on opposite sides of the battlefield in Captain America: Civil War.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see the two of them teaming up. One other thing that stood out was we finally got an appearance of Captain America's shield as well. But the question is, who's arming themselves with that shield? Everyone thinks it's going to be Steve Rogers, most likely. But could it be Bucky?
It's very possible.
I know we've been talking for years about the possibility that one day Bucky is going to take on that role and fill Steve Rogers' shoes. Could we finally get to see that at the end of Endgame?
It's very possible.
Who knows?
Let us know in the comments below if you're excited for Endgame and if you enjoyed the Super Bowl trailer, because we loved it here at Popcorn Feed. That's right, Captain Marvel. I mean, this film is selling out across the boards. Every showing has sold out for the opening weekend. It's amazing.
I believe
Honestly, I'm excited because, like I said earlier in our episode, we're going to get a female director in Anna Bodwin. I'm mostly excited to see Nick Fury in a younger Nick Fury role, and I'm also excited just to see him in general coming back to be in the movies because he's been kind of absent. A little bit,
yeah. Lately, we haven't seen as much of him as in previous years throughout the MCU.
There's going to be these throwbacks, I think, a lot in the Marvel Cinematic Universe now because they're starting to tie it back in. I mean, it's been over 10 years that we've had these films coming out, and this is a big thing for them.
It's going to come full circle.
Yeah, definitely. With Captain Marvel, I really believe that.
And I'm curious, too. I know the film is set in the 90s, but I'm curious if by the end of this film, is it going to bring us back to the present day?
See, this is something that a lot of people are thinking about, too. And I honestly believe that maybe we might see a little bit of time travel, even in Captain Marvel, before we even get to Endgame. I know that might seem like a spoiler for some people, but we'll see what happens, you know? Overall, I'm excited for Captain Marvel. It's right around the corner. It opens on March 8th. And of course, get your tickets if they're still available. And let us know in the comments if you're excited for Captain Marvel.
That's right, guys. Don't forget to check out our affiliate link if you want to buy tickets for Captain Marvel or Endgame. Just click on the link down below.
We'll leave them for all the movies we discussed here today. But I believe that's everything we have for this episode, Steve.
That's right. That does it for us here at Popcorn Feed. Thanks for watching, guys.
Thank you so much for joining us. And do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking on the corner of the page there. And, of course, Steve, where can they find us?
They can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of our social media accounts, and on YouTube.
That sounds good to me. Well, everybody, thank you for joining us here at Popcorn Feed. I'm Brian.
I'm Steve.
And we'll see you all next time.
Take care, guys.